I'm Teresa Caraggio, and this is Third Paradigm. Today, I'm responding to Russell Brand's interview of Tony Robbins called Activate Your Life Force. By coincidence, if you believe in those things, I happen to be listening to his first interview with Tony Robbins because I'm going from the beginning and then also from the end. So I think that Tony is amazing. If you don't know who he is, where have you been? He is synonymous with motivational speaker. If he didn't invent the field, he certainly has personified it. In addition, he does wonderful things with his money and with his energy. So all of his books are going towards different causes. He has transformed the lives of people. He has made them know that they are capable of doing things that they never thought that they could do before. And so it may surprise you that the theme I'm going to use is, I think Tony Robbins is working too hard and aiming too low. Let's find out why. On my last video, Domestic Truth Agents Unite, a viewer named Anna Lori Smith posted a comment saying that she felt that my view of socio-economic and socio-spiritual perspective was unique, especially with the warmth and intimacy I brought to it. And I am so grateful to her for feeling that, and also for that phrase, socio-spiritual. That is exactly a word that I've been looking for to be able to describe what I'm trying to bring here. So her suggestion was that maybe I should start a second channel on A Course in Miracles specifically. And I'm giving that some thought, but I also love the fact that I can bring my whole self here. And when I lose a viewer or two, I think that that just refines my group, and the fact that I'm trying to form people who are looking at things from this reality perspective and bringing that to it. So that's what I want to bring to my perspective on Tony Robbins. In Russell's first interview with Tony, Tony says, I can't change the whole system, and Russell says, why? And later, Tony talks about how it's about helping individuals, that he didn't have the delusion that he could change the whole world. Now, A Course in Miracles says there's no order of difficulty in miracles. What miracles are is that little tell, that thing that lets you know the things that you see, the rules by which you think the world works, are not the way things really are. And so Tony, again and again, seems to have proven that to himself. But I don't know whether he's actually believing what his own experience is demonstrating. I met someone recently who told me about his experience in firewalking, that 15 years ago he used to photograph firewalking events. And people would get ready for this in a unique way. That one of the things that they would do is that they would take an arrow, a target arrow, and they would put the point right here, and the rest would be on a wall or on a pole, and then they would fall towards it, and that the arrow would explode. And he captured that on photographs. He also talked about that they would take like 3/8 inch rebar, and two people would be on either end of it, and they would get in touch with each other and simultaneously get their heartbeats, going together by doing that tantric thing of putting your hand there with the other hand over it. And then they would take a step towards each other, and it would melt, that you would just see that rebar bend. And he told me in particular about a young girl who wanted to do it, and her dad was against it. And finally he said, all right, if you're going to do it, at least I want it to be with me. And she kept being ready to do it, and he kept chickening out. And then finally he goes to take it away and just give up. And he sees the look on her face, and he decides that he will do it, and that the rebar just bends. And my friend got the photograph of him giving that look and her looking, I can't believe you're not going to go through with this, and then having that rebar bend. So from what he told me, it would be a big pit. It would be 8 foot by 5 foot, not something you could just skip over. And that people would be instructed to walk normally. And you would look at the fire and you would look at it breathing. You would look at it inhaling and exhaling. And you would trust yourself and trust the fire. And his statement was that Tony Robbins talks about firewalking, and that he says that what you're thinking is cool green moss, cool green moss, cool green moss. But he said they did something different, that they thought hot as fuck, hot as fuck, hot as fuck. And that it wasn't a matter of your will. It wasn't, oh, I can control this. This is just in my mind. It was more saying, I'm going to trust that this reality is something that can carry me. And so you didn't have that idea that your fear could sabotage you. So my statement to my friend and also to Tony Robbins is that I've been studying A Course in Miracles, but they've been living A Course in Miracles. But I don't know that they're believing their own experience, because their experience is telling them, I can control this. There's a way that if I have enough discipline and enough will, I can do this. But A Course in Miracles says it's not up to you. There is something that you're just getting in touch with. It is not your will that's important. It's you being attuned to another will and being able to do your part with it. So that's on the socio-spiritual side, that once you acknowledge that those rules exist by which the world runs, you are subject to them, and you can't really change anything because you're already acknowledging that that is the way that things are. At the same time, this is proven on the socio-economic front, as I explain in my book, How to Dismantle an Empire, that much of that is saying, give up, all ye who enter here, that my first 3 sections are really about giving up hope that there is any little tweak, any reform, any charity, any alternatives that you can do within this framework that are actually going to make any difference whatsoever. At most, they're going to stall. They're just going to let things build up even more. But we're at a point right now when I think there is a chance for real change. And I've been seeing this on other comments, on other Substack essays, where people are saying, I just am so demoralized, and I feel like there is such a collapse that is going on right now, but something else in me is so excited about that, because I have never felt that the corporate and the economic and the educational world that I'm immersed in is really what my heart so desperately wants. And so I think we need to stay with that excitement that what we're seeing right now is a flailing of the empire as it is going down in flames. And so you can't change those little things, but Tony, you can change the world. You can change the entire system, and it would be so much easier than what you're doing now, that you could relax. You could not have to work so hard because you don't have to change individual by individual. You can just change the entire thing. And if you're with me that we're working too hard, here's a little video called From FOMO to JOMO, The Joy of Missing Out. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole playlist on why we should be goofing off, but here's my mind over matter, which goes into that deep reality and lets you know not to take this too seriously. Thank you.